Prabhuji, we cannot hear.
Mataji, they did not turn on the audio. Waiting for them to respond. So just wait for 2-3 minutes, Mataji, until the Kirtan ends.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Sorry about that.
भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज आनंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। All glories to Lord Sri. All glories to Lord Sri. All glories to Shri Guru Prabhupada की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुक्तपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चना गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुनाथारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्री चैतन्येश्वरं। हरे कृष्ण। Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 23, Text number 2. Vishrambenatma sauchena.
Vishrambenatma sauchena.
Vishrambenatma sauchena.
Vishrambenatma sauchena.
Gauravena damena cha.
Gauravena damena cha.
Gauravena damena cha.
Gauravena damena cha.
Susrushaya sahridena.
Susrushaya sahridena.
Susrushaya sahridena.
Susrushaya sahridena.
Vacha madhuraya chaboho.
Vacha madhuraya chaboho.
Vacha madhuraya chaboho.
Vacha madhuraya chaboho.
Vishrambenatma shauchena.
Vishrambenatma sauchena.
Gauravena damena cha.
Gauravena damena cha.
Shusrushaya sahridena.
Shushrusaya sahridena.
Vacha madhuraya chabho.
Vacha madhuraya chaboho.
Sorry.
Vishrambenatma sauchena.
Vishrambenatma shauchena.
Gauravena damena cha.
Gauravena damena cha.
Shushrusaya sahridena.
Shusrushaya sahridena.
Vacha madhuraya chaboho.
Vacha madhuraya chabho.
Vishrumbena,
Vishrambena,
with intimacy.
with intimacy.
How you want to chant? Good.
Vishrambena Shauchena, Gauravena Gamena Cha, Shrushaya Sahridena, Vacha Madhuraya Chabu.
Vishrumbena,
Vishrambena,
with intimacy.
with intimacy.
Atma Sochena,
Atma
with the
Shauchena,
purity of mind and body.
with purity of mind.
Gauravena,
Gauravena,
with great respect.
great respect.
The Cha
Cha,
and
and
Susrushaya,
Shrushaya,
with service.
with service.
Sahridena,
Sahridena,
with love.
with love.
Vacha,
Vacha,
with words.
with words.
Madhuraya,
Madhuraya,
sweet.
sweet.
Cha
Cha,
and
and
Boho,
Boho,
O Vidura.
O Vidura.
Visrumbena Atma Savachena, Gauravena Davena Cha, Susrushaya Sahridena, Vacha Madhuraya Cha Vo, Vacha Madhuraya Cha Vo, Madhuraya Cha Vo, yes. Vacha Madhuraya Cha Vo. Translation. O Midra Devati served her husband with intimacy and great respect, with control of the senses, with love and with sweet words. Here, purport by His Divine Grace Bhakti Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Here, two words are very significant. Devavati served her husband in two ways, Vishrumbena and Gauravena. These are two important processes in serving the husband or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vishrumbena means with intimacy and Gauravena means with great reverence. The husband is a very intimate friend. Therefore, the wife must render service just like an intimate friend. And at the same time, she must understand that the husband is superior in position. And thus, she must offer him all respect. Superior in position. Hare Krishna. A man's psychology and woman's psychology are different. As constituted by bodily frame, a man always wants to be superior to his wife, and a woman, as bodily constituted, is naturally inferior to her husband. Thus, the natural instinct is that the husband wants to post himself as superior to the wife, and this must be observed. Even if there is some wrong on the part of the husband, the wife must tolerate it. And thus, there will be no misunderstanding between husband and wife. Vishrumbena means with intimacy, but it must not be familiarity that breeds contempt. According to the Vedic civilization, a wife cannot call her husband by name. In the present civilization, the wife calls her husband by name. But in Hindu civilization, she does not. Thus, the inferiority and the superiority complexes are recognized. The main nature, a wife has to learn to control herself even if there is a misunderstanding. Sahurdena vacha muduraya cha muduraya. Sahurdena vacha muduraya means always desiring good for the husband and speaking to him with sweet words. A person becomes agitated by so many material contacts in the outside world. Therefore, in his home life, he must be treated by his wife with sweet words. Hare Krishna. Wait, I said Ajnanata Mridasya prayer straight.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yes. So this is actually, it's difficult for me because it's honestly speaking, I told Shyam Kishore Prabhu, I'm not available. He said yesterday night, he asked everyone and nobody said yes. And I said, all right, I'll give.
So whatever you heard through so many couples, you can.
Yes, that is the thing. Yes, 25 to 30% of my time is already gone in counseling for so many years. So, Amen. Hare Krishna. Vishrumbena Atma Sauchena. What is that verse? Gauravena Damena Cha. You know? So all the Prabhus and Matas, please do excuse me if I speak anything wrong. But I want to tell one thing for sure. This is Bhagavatam, definitely very relevant, but world changed. Because here Devahuti is not going to office 9 to 5. You know, and Kardamman is not working either. But he has a work because he's always in deep meditation. So things have to be a little bit adjusted. The way Srila Prabhupada adjusted, Krishna consciousness to suit Westerners. So we need to also adjust. But it's very clear actually here. And it's very important also. Up to America changed after Second World War. After Second World War, women in America were not working. Then what happened? The exploitation started. And to counteract the exploitation of men, women started working. Then women started working, they were paid very low salaries. Direct discrimination actually. Then they fought. So it went through, slowly one after another, divorce came into existence. And so women wanted independence because men, they were being exploited by men, that is the thing. So basically, if you see, there is a role of Kali in that actually. But today, if you really ask me, women's position is very vulnerable. So she has to work outside, she has to take care of the household affairs, she has to take care of the children. So especially taking care of children and cooking and maintaining the homes, Prabhujis are not so, they are not expert in that. So what they really wanted, that freedom, today the freedom is very little actually. Sometimes when a mother gets second child, I don't see them actually. It's because of this reason. And if on the top of it, she becomes Krishna conscious, that is even more difficult. Why? Another 2 hours is added. If husband is not Krishna conscious, Hare Krishna. Husband is Krishna conscious and understanding, a little better. Husband is not Krishna conscious, it is difficult. All the Matajis in the call, do you agree? Because I have only one Mataji here. Do you agree?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
So, first of all, the equation is husband should be devotee. Husband should be nice devotee. Here, Kardamman is very well trained. Kardamman is so well trained. He has seen, before marriage, he has seen Krishna actually. So when the husband is very advanced, and if wife serves the husband, 50% she'll get it. Today, some women's position is, husband also wants 50% from her because husband is not Krishna conscious. Our husband is telling, I cannot deliver you. Honestly speaking, today's position, this verse, because people would not marry in the olden days if they did not have the capability to deliver the wife. Today, अरे खुद का ठिकाना नहीं है, and what to speak of the wife, right? So this verse has to be adjusted. The prerogative, yes, it's actually leaning towards men actually, honestly speaking, clear. Provided, yes, I agree with this verse, provided men are very advanced like Skardamuni. The men are advanced, at least if not Kardamuni, very advanced like advanced Krishna conscious devotee, Mahabharata devotee, then what's the problem? You don't need to be Kardamuni for that. So with that if condition, this verse, we have to start. Otherwise, honestly speaking, exactly, yeah. Ever since I moved to Michigan, my time, my investment on Grihastha started becoming less and less and less. But still, it's there. And one lecture, one sannyasi said, we know what happens because we consult so many people. So, with that being said, how can we make the Grihastha ashram? Grihastha ashram, it's ashrama. Ashrama, where there is no shrama. In the name of Grihastha ashram, it is actually Grihamedi, literally. And then, Grihamedi means then this doesn't work. We have so many people. Why only, there are 19 here, and probably how many is 3, 6, 8. Means people are not interested. Okay, Monday to Friday, I don't complain. Weekends, when a person is not interested, then what will you tell? There is something called preaching to the choir. How many of you heard this word, preaching to the choir? In the church, there will be, they have a music band, choir. This pastor will be telling, you should come every week. You should come every day and be present. These guys are waiting. They're hired, this choir of musicians. So there is nobody sitting. And so as they're waiting because you have not paid them money. As soon as you pay the money, they leave. In other words, there is nobody. Everyone is listening? So these classes are for people who want to make progress. Who want to listen, understand and apply. Otherwise, it's like preaching to the choir. So, yes, today women are working. But there are two words, Sahrudena and Gauravena. Sorry, Vishrumbena, Gauravena. Same words are there in Rasas also. Vishrumbha Sakya, Gaurav Sakya. With Krishna, in the spiritual world, Gaurav Sakya is with Lord Ram. It is not there with Vishnu. Means Lord Ram puts his hand around the shoulders of Vibhishan and Sugriva, but Sugriva will not put because they know he is Supreme Lord. There is a respect. Ram will do. Sugriva is my friend. But Sugriva will not do that to Ram. Why? So Gaurava. If the father puts his hand around the shoulders of son will not put. If son is grown up. If the husband does it for wife will not do that. More or less. Because Gauravena. But there is an intimacy. Vishrumbena. So Gaurav Sakya is with Ram only. It's not there with Vishnu. But Vishrumbha Sakya is only with Krishna. Vishrumbha Sakya is only with Krishna. Krishna will play with his friends very intimately. His friends will climb on the shoulders of Krishna. Same thing. So there is intimacy. Wife and husband, there should be intimacy. Why not? So Prabhupada writes here, a good friend. So anyway, actually, can everyone hear on the online?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So a person needs to be trained before marriage. A person needs to be trained in Brahmacharya ashram for 25 years. Then he knew how to use this next marriage ashram, how to use that. If he doesn't do training, what he will do? He will either become a henpecked husband or he'll try to control his wife. He will use, both are wrong actually. Either he'll try to fully control, or other side, both sides are there. Both are wrong. Today there is no training. When there is no training, what happens? On the top of it, okay, women also should work. So Kaliga, unless both parties work, you cannot, comfortably live. So my point is, a wife and husband should have a good understanding, first of all. Gaurvena and Vishramana, intimacy should be there, respect should be there. And there is actually two words. Damena. Dhamma is the word that is used for, same word is used. You want to be Brahmana? Sama Dhamma. Second word is Dhamma for Brahmana. Sense control. So today, last line, if everyone sees, husband, material world is so many complexities. He has to go through so many situations when he comes home. So a wife should offer sweet words. And a wife is also outside dealing material world equally. So you also offer sweet words. If money is needed, one day I called one person. He said, Prabhuji, I'm very busy. Why? Washing pots. And I can't believe you washing pots, But what can we do? America, even you cannot have servant maids. Good, wonderful. Why not? Understanding. Good understanding is needed. One day I asked one family, when is the last time you told thank you to your husband? She said, what are you telling? That is his duty to maintain me, So in my 13 years, I don't think I have ever told even one time. I asked him, when is the last time you say? I say every day. That is another extreme. Like a plastic smile or plastic thank you. I said, no, that doesn't work like that. So on regular basis, sometimes I ask, when is the last time you guys sat and spoke? They don't speak. Bhagavatam says, when a child comes, the mother's affection for husband goes, the wife's affection for husband goes to the children. I've seen many areas, so many areas actually, The both will travel, they'll show their love to only children. They have a serious, the layer ruptured. The wife and husband, whatever the intimacy and gaurava and intimacy and respect, that layer is ruptured. One lecture Radhana Swami says, in India they continue because they want to make sure children will grow well, because if this, or what will relatives think? What will society think? This is the information 30 years ago. Now, no, I cannot tolerate. Let them think what they want to think. So for this to happen, husband, when you use, okay, why the word damena is used? If both parties are working and dealing with material outside, means both parties are sufficiently affected. When you are sufficiently affected, you come home, you need an extra, you need an extra layer, extra coating. As soon as you come, you have to change. You cannot change. That's why people are affected at home also. Why he did this in the office? Actually, I've seen, I also worked in America. Offices are filled with tamogun. As soon as you open the door, come and said, hey, come to Sattoguna. It doesn't come like that. You're lingering in Raja and Tamu. If spouse is a working woman, even if she's in Sattva, she's also working. Work, generate results. In other words, your vehicle is going at 80 miles an hour. Suddenly husband came or suddenly wife came, bring it to 0. It doesn't work. And the top of it, there is nothing to eat. Immediately you're hungry, both are hungry. The glass has to fall down to create the problem. Anyone has experience? Only thing is glass has to fall down. Or say, if you have a Rajo son, he'll throw one thing and wow. You know, so then you go to India, they say, oh, you're in America, you're so happy, ecstatic. अरे आपको क्या मालूम है इधर क्या होता है? We have money only, you know, but not, I don't. Everything except money, we don't have anything. Actually, real happiness comes from loving exchange. Real happiness comes from loving exchange. So, even if, actually, Radhanath Swami says, even if you correct your son, India correction is different. In America, it's different, of course. You are his servant. No names, one family. They quarrel with wife, mother and father. This side, they said no. They quarreled. And we'll go with, parents came to know both sides. These guys are, on this time, they're going to get married in this temple. You know, both are influential. They called police. So these guys came to know their parents are going to do that. So as the police jeeps were coming, climbing the hill, they got married and they got down through the pathway, you know. And he said, that day I felt we claimed Everest. You know, because we could cheat our parents and we could do what we wanted. Like boyfriend, girlfriend got married. Real story. Same family, 6 years later. They told each other. He told her, you do the second one, I'll take the first one. I cannot live together. Why? But that day they remembered. We remember claiming the Everest. When we ran away from, having been married, we ran away from parents, we escaped from cops and all. But today we can't get along. So, Bhagavatam says, if the, what is that? I forgot that verse actually. Anyway. So, if the family life is based on sense enjoyment, Dampatya Ratireva, Prabhupada's quote, something like that. Sutrame Viprate Lavanyam Kishataranam, Shikarame Chodvahe, something like that. Dampatya Ratireva, Sutrame Viprate Lavanyam Kishataranam. Then, as soon as that sense gratification is done, the egos come out. But here, how Kardamuni, she's married to Kardamuni. She's actually not like you and me. Swayambhu Manu gets up by playing, listening to the Vedic recitals, listening to the transcendental music every day. She must have had so many maid servants. But Kardamuni is that type of person. Honestly speaking, even though it's Satyuga story, very relevant today. She got married and husband's parents left her and they went. First of all, it's a totally new area. She lived in palaces. And she's not President of America's daughter. She's a universe. He's an emperor for the universe. And imagine that too, what type of opulence. How many servant maids she must have had that time. But here she had no servant maid. And more than anything, this person doesn't talk. Always like this only. Somewhere in our congregation, what is the worst thing? If somebody scolds you, they acknowledge your presence. Silent treatment. One of the different types of anger, one anger is silent treatment. Come for prasad. I ate. What would you do? That's the worst thing actually. Means I have a power. I can do whatever I want to do. Even if other person exhibits tolerance for a long time, then enough is enough. Antagonist, I have a question. I asked this question recently. You're working in a company for 10 years. Suddenly, last 3 meetings, they have not invited you, but the meetings are happening, they didn't invite you. Will you work there? Immediately you'll resign. Yes, sir. So if you don't talk to other person, I've seen this with brahmachari. Like, some people have this brahmachari tendency. But because of whatever reasons, they get married. And 1 year later, they realize, isme kuch dam nahi idhar. Then renunciation comes. Goal of human life is self-realization. Goal of human life is self-realization. And, okay, spouse, don't talk. And why you got married? There is other side also. I have seen that also. No. So thing is, Kardamuni would not talk for months. You can apply whatever your circumstances you're in to her actually. I'm sure if I don't want to use this word, if you're a little bit egoistic, so she would calculate, or she's intelligent. This guy will come out after 3 months. So I'll go home and one day before he comes out, I'll come back. I'll come before he comes out of meditation. Yesterday, Shangshwa was mentioning, she was serving her husband like Lord Shiva, Parvati did to Lord Shiva. She became emaciated. She changed. One thing I learned, I can tell for every one of you, I mean, whoever is married, if you unconditionally serve that person, however many years it takes, you will be victorious. One time, no names, this Prabhu, he has this brahmachari tendency but got married. Suddenly, after marriage, he realized he did a mistake. And he started talking to his wife. And she came to America and she came to me and said, poor. I said, wait, I know your husband very well. Don't worry. So what to do? Just to serve him, a day will come, you'll put him in your pocket. But until he'll change, you enjoy the support of your in-laws. That's very important. That is another angle. This is not mentioned here. Very interestingly, Kardamuni, she doesn't have in-laws. That brings another angle. There is one more angle, finance. What I've seen is finance and in-laws. Usually many in America are immune from that in-laws because 10,000 kilometers away. But still the impact is there. It's there, very much there. I know. WhatsApp is there because of the WhatsApp. No, it's there. I've seen more than that finances also.
Yeah.
But today, exactly 1 year later, it changed. I started doing counseling, not like this. They changed. There are 2 children, and it's a long story. So probably 15 years ago. So the thing is, what is the solution? Both should become Krishna conscious. The moment you become Krishna conscious, at least even though there is no training 25 years before marriage, start respecting. Respect. Spirit soul. There is a word kindred spirits. Or if you're not careful, next lifetime you will become woman and she'll become man and the same thing will continue. It's very important for sure. So she did service, she became emaciated, weak, her hair is matted, amazing. To that extent she went. She changed. How did Kardamuni change? Kardamuni saw, this is emperor's daughter. For my sake, she's like this. I should not be like this. So always like this? No. The next verses, he says, how much you see, very interesting. He was not tempted by her beauty. When Gandharva fell down from heavenly planets, just by seeing her beauty, Kardamuni is because he's self-realized, is not affected. So to live to that expectation, she also controlled her senses. Today, nobody control. There's no control in senses actually. But Prabhupada also knew this. What Prabhupada did? Prabhupada transformed the hippies by giving prasad. Pure devotee, he would cook, he would offer to Krishna, Mahaprasad, then he will feed. So by supporting their sense gratification, Prabhupada transformed them. Yes, Kali Yuga sense control is not there. So what is that? How did he change? He saw my wife changed. She has gone to a large extent. She has gone very far in trying to please me. A person doesn't change, he must be either sadist or tamogun personification. If you take service but doesn't reciprocate, you are wrong. Sometimes I think if things are like this in Krishna conscious, in families, what to speak of outside? Because after hearing this much, if you really want to incur problems, your spouse will not listen this type of classes, will not listen Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam should be listened with a desire to change. With a desire to change and make progress to sattva. She cannot do these things without sattva. She attained that sattva. You all should know, she became a river actually. Her body, she went back to Godhead, her body became a river. And she gave birth to whom? Kapil Muni, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, when Kardamuni saw his wife's austerities, service to please him, he changed. And he says in the next verses, all these qualities, you'll get it right now. Like a guru, if guru is pleased with disciple, the way he bestows, that's how he has bestowed. But what is it? I forgot that verse. What is the goal of family life? Children. Something like that, I forgot. So, for that reason, he changed. This is Kardamuni. Means, he's self-realized. He has no interest then. But for his wife, he saw what is her desire. But she doesn't, her desire is to support her husband, to populate the world. Not, she doesn't have any other thing other than that. Amazing. In other words, if wife and husband come to sattva, your life will become better. Either as long as you're impelled by, you're pushed by Raja and Tamo, even if you apply these points in Rajagun also, still it will work better. Everyone is listening? In 1 year, if you live with anybody, you will know the other person, for sure. What button to press, what raga will come, you will definitely know. Then you have to be careful. Don't touch the gray areas. This is my simple point to Grihastha Sai counsel. Don't touch the gray areas. If the gray area, if you touch, it will create trouble. Don't touch it. Intimacy, Vishrambena and Gauravena. I tell, come sit together and chant. Sit together and chant. So Prabhupada's father, Prabhupada inspired the whole world, but Prabhupada was inspired by his father. Today, it's 9 o'clock, but I'll take 10 minutes. First, for that to work, there's a little homework here. What is that homework? Even if we are not there, can everyone see the screen?
No, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Okay, we don't, but you see me, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And even if there is no training in the past, you came to Krishna consciousness. First thing is Daminacha. Saminacha, Daminacha. So for that, what we have to do is 3 things we have to apply in our life to make it work. What is that? So there are Gita tells about, Gita tells about austerity of the body. Just give me 1 minute. So first thing is three things if we practice, our life will become better. What are 3 things? Body, you regulate. Your speech, you regulate. And your mind, you regulate. I'm not telling control because it's difficult. What is that? Eat only prasad. And no prajalpa. Because whenever you indulge in prajalpa, whatever the progress you made, it will be nullified. It is all these are the tips for improving the landscape of your family life based on today's verse. What is that? I will not eat outside, I'll eat on the prasad. No prajalpa. Make sure you take right association. This both should do it. Both should do it. Then only it will work. If only one of the 2 is Krishna conscious, it means they have bad karma. Many times I conclude this. If only one of the 2 is Krishna conscious, they have sufficient bad karma. But if that person is in Sattvagun, little better. So, Devadvija Guru Prajna, Pujanam Sauchamarjavam, Brahmacharyam Amisacha, Sariram Tapamuchate. So, how do we regulate our body? First, you are all chanting the holy name. Worship the Brahmins and spiritual master. Superior like father and mother. So basically, take elders, you respect them. And cleanliness means no extramarital affairs. Simplicity means, you are not so much after that car, this thing, that thing. I want to show others I am happy by showing Tesla. That no. That is not simple living. And celibacy means in the family only, very important, and non-violence. This you do, it is actually a regulation of body. The second one is mind. Mind is nonsense. Mana prasada samyatum maunam atma vinigraha bhava samsuddha iti etat tapo manas muchyate. First of all, be satisfied with whatever you have. Second thing is simplicity. Third thing is gravity. Fourth thing is self-control. See, simplicity is there in the body, simplicity is there in the mind. That's why one has to adopt a simplicity in lifestyle. And our goal is to purify our existence. Why have you taken birth? A couple of days ago, Dheetra was mentioning, Prabhu was mentioning, bus miss nahi karne ka. One should have that. I want to utilize my human life to go back to Godhead. Then what happens is you will be satisfied with whatever you have. And your life will be simple, based on simple living and high thinking. Gravity means when needed you will talk, when not needed you don't talk. Self-control. And with these two, actually majority of the nature of the mind is it shows what you don't have and makes you unhappy. But if you're satisfied, it's not like that. The last one is speech. Anudvega karam vakyam. I am actually very bad in this. But I'm telling you, but you should not speak in a very agitating way. Very agitating way you should not speak. He's like that, she's like that. If you touch the gray areas, it doesn't work. Sometimes people make me unhappy by correcting them in a very, mocking way. Because I am upset. But then I realize, no, they will not change. So, unudvega. Un is a, like an able, unable, like udvega. So, don't speak in an agitating way. Satyam, speak truth. Priyam, speak sweetly. That's what she's doing it actually. Hitam, whatever is good for them. Swatyaya abhyasanam cheva. Isn't reading Prabhupada books. So reading the Shastra. That is austerity of speech. Vanmayam tapmuchyate. So when we do this, then what happens? Many times I've seen slip of a tongue, one word you lose, and But of course, unless both the hands meet, sound won't come. Sometimes Shamanand Prabhu, myself, we are talking. He said, in the family life, at least 50% contribution will be there. I disagree, Prabhu. What do you mean? I said 90-10. I said, try. Few years later, I said, I think it is 70-30. You are very close. Couple of years later, it will come 50-50. So it means you are getting realization. So, usually in general, maybe there may be exceptional cases. Our contribution is there, some percentage. Good percentage, actually. Our percentage is there. So when there is, actually I mentioned this in an upcoming book, when you sense the Maya's leers, when you sense this, your mind is actually a telephone. If it is spouse, it's a devotee, anybody, he comes in. You came here. You didn't say anything. You told in the mind. That signal will go and touch him. Immediately you feel that person becomes very uncomfortable. Then he looks at you. Oh, here you are here also. That signal will come and touch you. Nobody is speaking. I'm honest with you, same thing happens at home also. I also lived in a joint family for so many years. And you look at them, what they will do? They will look at you, what you will do? Same home. There's a communication going on. There you have to say no. You are wonderful. Send a signal. That will touch. Then the response will come. I don't believe. No, you're amazing. I disagree. So you have to do that. Because the more and more, yesterday I was telling, the more and more we give into mind, the more and more you go away from Krishna. So if you have given to mind 10 years, to undo it, it takes 10 years. Likewise, the more and more that layer is ruptured, the more and more it will take time to heal, which is not easy. But if we apply these three things, actually I said about one person. So if both the persons apply, and then you're coming fast, time will be less. If only one person is applying, takes a little more time. It's a little late, but so Kardamani changed. One day Radhanasa was giving lecture. By seeing to please her husband, she changed. By seeing her austerity and to the extent she went, he changed. Who was born? Kapila Muni was born. So if you try first understand your spouse and you change, seeing that other person will change, Krishna consciousness will be born, Radhanaswami said. Who will be born? Krishna consciousness will be born. If we try to change our attitudes, how long? It takes sometimes 20 years also, 10, 15 years also. Prabhupada also worked his sisters, to repair sister's marriage. Prabhupada worked for a long time. I heard it worked out eventually. So I'm sorry, what I have spoken is theory. But if I have spoken anything wrong, excuse me. Any question or comment, otherwise we'll end it.
It's not theory though. It is, many cases, it happens at the same time. We don't give priority to that relation and time. Especially mention all the points. Especially I see like time, like how much we don't spend even 5 minutes sometimes. Busy weekdays, busy in other things and weekends. So how do we give that quality time is not there, not like 1 hour, 2 hours also.
I know, I've seen the devotees actually.
Yeah.
One day I was driving, one devotee was finish it.
No, just we have all the things plus the material life. It's really getting difficult into that time.
First of all, we are not interested in giving time because something happened. The ego is hurt. So when the ego is hurt, I've seen so many devotees. On the top of it, Krishna consciousness, temple, all these things add up. And you have an excuse. When you have an excuse, I know devotees who work so hard, but they have not spoken each other for a very long time. When I realized, I told a couple of devotees, the Grihastha Gurus who are Grihastha Gurus in ISKCON, they have enjoyed the support of the spouse. Every Grihastha, whether it's Kalakanda Prabhu, whether it's Vaisesha Prabhu, whether it's Kratu Prabhu or Samikrish Prabhu, they have a very strong support from the spouses. Lord Shiva is strongly supported by Parvati. Even Lord Ram sent Sita to forest. Mother Sita supported Ram fully. And these two children, she taught Ram. Usually what? Don't tell your father's name. This Love and Kush, they are going and singing Ramayana. Means that layer is very strong. So one day, somebody was driving. Phone came. Bolo. And I understood who's the other person. Other side, I could just, So, actually, I attended Dwarkadish Prabhu classes only for this, And then he said, why? Prabhu, most of the people I deal with are Grihasthas. I think familiarity. Prabhupada mentions that line in this. In the purport, he mentioned it. Intimacy should not lead to familiarity. We have certain expectations, She has to give this respect to me. When she doesn't do that, or she calls you by name, no, my mother doesn't do that with my father. You are doing it like that. But yes, your mother doesn't bring money, So something will touch you, Kali Yuga actually. So simple thing, what touched my heart 6, 7 years ago, she said, Vishaka Mata, Vishaka Priya, right? Vishaka. Men identify their success with the career, the team lead, manager, this much money. Very interesting. She said women identify their happiness, even if they perform very well in the office, they don't find so much happiness there. Maybe they a little bit, but a husband comes and tells you, you did a great job. She feels very happy, she said. So when you know what will make the other person happy, that I will not give. That way I'll take revenge. So the solution is simple thing. I told someone family actually, you sit and talk every week. And many people I told, just take her out and you can go outside. One time actually I went to Salt Lake City, no names. And some families came from Michigan for skiing actually. So wow, that's good. So there is something called skiing and you go, good. So when is the last time you have taken your spouse? No, not interested. Okay, not interested, that's fine. You're saving money. They sit at home and talk. There's nothing to talk. Read together. Discuss. Actually, honestly speaking, one person asked Radhana Swami, actually, ILS 2012, this lady asked, three sannyasis were sitting, and this question is for Radhana Swami. Radhana Swami, when is the time in ISKCON? You must be like 40 years. You are most cared for. When is the time in ISKCON you felt you are least cared for? Wow, that's a great question. He said, when I was discussing, when Bhaktir Swami on his deathbed, when we were discussing Bhagavatam, sharing Krishna, that is the time I felt most cared for. That's a great answer. There's one next one. When did you feel you are least cared for? He said, there is never a time I felt I was least cared for. So that's great. But we are not on that platform. So simple thing is, when you tell other person, I care for you. Even if, that's why I said, did you take prasad? Did you eat? Like you go home, having worked very hard. I made gulab jamun, rasgulla, jangri, all these things on the table, eat, and I'll sleep. You can buy in the restaurant, same thing. Actually, somebody opens the door and the way they look at you, you can tell what type of hospitality you'll get. Just by looking at them. But because so many years of marriage, okay, everyone you have your own keys. Nobody needs to open anyway. So when you go and you'll go. There is no rasa there. I'm sorry, I'm a monk has to speak. For example, you go for a party, you all came, there are 100 days in it, you all eat and go without shy. Nobody will eat. So you came, thank you for coming, Prabhu. We are waiting for you. We have not cut the cake just because you have not come. Oh, you feel you're valued. When you feel you're valued, you'll go there. Human tendency. Okay, and after this class, did you eat? Oh, finish it. I have to go. And then no. No. Am I right or not? So they said, you have to care. So Shyam was mentioning yesterday, what is that? Raganuga and Vaidhi service. You have to do it because it is because it is ought to be done. That is Vaidhi. Then there is no rust in that. One day, very interesting. This is like 20 years ago, 2002. I went with Gauram Prabhu. So they ate everything. He said, you pack that ice cream. I said, okay, what is this? And he told one brahmachari, hey, I brought ice cream for you. Said, oh, wow. So this relationship, not wife and husband, it works everywhere. Kirtana Swami brought ice cream Kuladri Prabhu brought ice cream from Yurunnavan to India. Prabhupada was in his last days. It is mentioned. They details, you show your affection by by working on the details. Prabhupada had a little bit. Vajrama or Prafullana took a burger and gave it to Jayapataka Maharaj. So Yugal Maharaj, he ate it. So this burger came all the way from India. From America. Details. Sit and talk every 20 minutes. Discuss on sadhana. I'm struggling. Your chanting is better. Your one lady told me, I don't have any friends. That is your mistake. Why you don't have friends? Just go and tell one Mataji, you sang very well, you cleaned very well. Wow, they'll become your friends. Next time they look for you. Same thing at home also. Even though the wife and husband, there is a rupture. So did you take prasad? Take prasad and put it on the table and brought it for you. Even you don't need to sit with them actually. Any other question? Yeah.
I just have a comment and I want to thank you, Prabhu, for and pray that every time I attend class, I want to see a change in my heart. I pray that it happens. And I follow what you're speaking in the class as I hear. And my mother also gave a nice tip when we got married. She said, we don't have mutual respect because we try to see the other person also has to act respectfully, like he or she has to also develop some nice qualities. And she said that even one quality, like how we learned that Kalya Dosha Nide Raja, we are so used to just finding faults, but it's all there. But even one good quality, if we could see in each other, that's enough for the lifetime to be together, she said. One quality, if you could just focus on of your husband, that's all you need to stay together and appreciate each other on a daily basis. Just to remember that again and again.
Appreciation, actually. Appreciation goes very far. Nice comment. Somebody raised hand here. Otherwise, we'll end it.
I am.
Amma.
You said like one should not touch the gray area. But how do you identify those gray areas?
Very easy. The moment you touch the gray area, that person will be afternoon sun. If that is all the qualities will come out. So should not, in-laws, finances, So these are the common things I have seen in my life with grosthas. You should not touch them. Another thing, unfortunately, if wife is more intelligent than husband cannot take it. What is that? Prabhupada writes superiority, this is all because of the bodily nature. No, but like one thing I'll tell you, women are emotionally weak. I have seen it. Men are emotionally stable. That's why men can't become Krishna conscious so easily. Women are simple. They'll become Krishna conscious easily. Because the men deal with metal world a lot. So emotionally, they're very stable. So you tell them 10 times, they'll not listen. 11th time, they'll listen. Women, they quarrel and they mix next day. Men don't quarrel. But then when they quarrel, they'll not see each other for the rest of life. Devotees are a little different. But still, same principle works with devotees I've seen. So identify the gray area. As I told in the class, if you live with somebody for 1 year, you'll know the person very well. For sure you'll know. If you're not, that is your mistake actually. How many of you agree, with whomever you lived, you know them? Yes. Which button you press, which raga will come, Yes or no? So if you really want to make your life simple, easy, don't touch the gray areas. That's what I've seen again and again and again.
Most of the time, that's what we use that as a weapon to take revenge or instigate.
Those are the details. Yes, Manmohan Prabhu, you want to have a question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nice class. Prabhuji, one question. Any relationship, I think too much familiarity, person is taken granted. It applies to any relationship, even in marriage also. So if you can enlighten or elaborate that.
The medicine for familiarity is respect. If you see other person, you see that person is more advanced than you. Even if their sadhana is little less. Someone has to mute. If you see other person is advanced, more advanced, then you become naturally respectful. Where there is respect, there is no familiarity. That is my experience. Respect. You know. Same another thing is avoid miscommunication. Miscommunication is, especially whether it is family or anywhere, miscommunication. Communication is the key. You clarify. Simple thing I'll tell you. Should I tell one thing? And I told our, everything is open only. We have a devotee here, very innocent, Rohindandan Prabhu. I told him, Prabhu, Rohindandan is really, like Mahabharata devotee maybe, So I told him, for 6 months, don't go with Grihasthas. Don't talk to, don't talk to ladies for 1 year. 1-2 years later, we'll see. This I told. When he told something based on that, I said, no, let us do this. So one person called, he told him, like Yugal Kishore Das said, he told me not to talk to you and Grihasthas. So, I told this in a generic thing, for his thing. I'm sure usually it would not come out. But that person told me. So when he told me, thank God you told me, I told him, not only to you, don't talk to any ladies for 1-2 years. Because it's not even a month since you came in. You need little training. So until you develop that discriminatory power, I want you to be safe. Other person doesn't know. Then what other person will think? Yugal Kishore Das, there is exactly. In our temple, we are so careful with what we speak actually. So I told him, not only you, Prabhu, of course, he told me not to speak to Grihasthas. That is even dangerous. So because he's a brahmachari, Grihasthas, why he's telling? I told him, don't speak to any Grihasthas, no doubt. If this is the reason, I want him to become stable, then he can do. So communication, when one has to be. Actually, let me tell you a simple point. One is avoid familiarity, respect. And second thing is emotional bank account provision. You all have to top it up regularly. If other person, the emotional, when you do something wrong, when you do something that other party doesn't like, your emotional bank account with them, it will go down. Almost zero. And if this glass falls down, they'll become angry. It is not the glass fell down and they become angry. What you did yesterday, that has depleted your emotional bank account. So you have to do, what is the one time Sachit Prabhu sent a message. Jagannath Swami goes to, what is that, Gundicha temple. Right? He sits there. Here Lakshmi ji is frowning. And Jagannath Swami goes and says, I brought rasagullas for you. So really, I brought rasagullas for you. And he starts feeding Lakshmi ji. Then this emotional bank account is up. Not here, there also, it's there. So regular talking and maintaining good emotional, healthy emotional bank account will sustain any relationship, including marital relationship. And it is also by having respect and gratitude. Respect and gratitude, these two things, if you have, you will be able to overcome familiarity. Does it answer the question?
Thank you so much. Very nice answer, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
It's 9:30.
Who just wanted to add, I know some grastas, husband and wife, they actually offer obeisances to each other.
Amazing. I want to tell this in the class, I forgot. One day I went to somebody's home. Real story in Michigan only. And I went to their home. They did Aarti. I mentioned this in my class many times. Aarti with the boy, Aarti was over. They did Aarti together, wife and husband to kids. Then boy read a sloka translation and purport for 5 minutes. I was watching, very good. And when they came out, these two boys offered obeisance to the parents. I said, oh, this is nice. And this Mataji offered obeisance to husband. She's a very qualified. I said, oh, this is amazing. I told myself, this Prabhu offered obeisance to the wife. I said, this is too much. My father also never offered this to my mother. I said, Amma, your home is looking like spiritual world. Amazing. She said, last year it was Kurukshetra only. Ever since we came to Krishna consciousness, we started becoming better and better. So yes, Prabhu, that works. Whatever works, we should do it. Otherwise, then you'll be in your own space. I'm honest with you, Kali Yuga, you have to, I think this suffering has to come. If you quarrel with next door neighbor, you will not open the window. Krishna, Maya will not put quarrel with next door neighbor, it will put inside. Electric 2 ropes, kilo. And next 5-6 days you don't speak. So if you instead, that's okay, whatever has happened, past is past. One family I told, wait 5 years, you both children will go away. And only you two. So if you do not develop that intimacy, then what happens? You will be in your office room working and she will be in the kitchen working. Both are very serious devotees, not like that. So because the things changed when we, definitely. But the same old principles have work. So if we have that gratitude and respect. And you have actually one thing, always top up that emotional bank account. That will work. And regular communication, sit and talk. If you don't have anything to talk, discuss Bhagavatam. Read. What is your opinion? Thank you very much. We'll end it here. If I've spoken anything wrong, do excuse me as a humble servant. Very grateful for your patient audience. Hare Krishna Gopad ki.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
His Grace Yugal Kishore Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Amazing class, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna
Wonderful class,
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji.
Dandavad Pranam.
Thank you, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.